your stories and antics, you get into a lot of trouble with your buddies and stuff, and it's hilarious. But where did you get so proficient with the voices?
Oh man, that's from being left alone while my mom went to play bingo. I had to entertain myself, man. You know, I have a brother and 4 sisters, and they were pretty much grown up and out of the house by the time I came along. I was the bonus surprise child. Yeah, no. My mom called me the lottery ticket because I'm the one that got out of the car. Los demás puros promises. The voices, when I was 10 years old, I saw Eddie Murphy raw for the first time. We were talking about that. And I tried mimicking what Eddie Murphy was doing. And I found that I was pretty good at it. You know, as a kid, I did a school talent show. And I was supposed to go out there with a friend of mine. We were going to do this whole sketch on Saturday Night Live. And at the last second, when the curtains opened up, he backed out. And I'm on stage by myself. And so the lady tells me, she goes, well, it looks like you're on your own. Do you know how to do anything on your own? And I'm like, shut up, Martin.
You had to entertain yourself.
I had to entertain myself. Yeah. You do what you got to do. All right? There was no SiriusXM back then. So, yeah, right? Not even that. Well, at the time, I mean, shoot, I had a VCR. And so if I wanted to see any type of action, I had to go to the video store and rent a movie that I knew was going to have a nude scene. That's how you had to work. Like, kids have it easy now. You know, go online and freaking, you know, blah, 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 whatever.com, and then boop, action.
Yeah.
Back then, you had to work for it. You had to work for it. You had to get all strategic. You had to rent a Friday the 13th movie where you knew that the counselors were going to be out by the water and they're going to get naked, you know, for all of 8 seconds, and then you
the counselors.
Yeah, the counselors. You know, you're ready. You wait for that moment and you get the VCR on the pause. But anyway, so see how quickly it changes when he's involved in it? I mean, it flips. So she asked me if I knew how to do anything as far as performing on my own. And I said, well, I know how to do voices. And she goes, well, what do you mean? And there was a microphone right there. And 10-year-old, I'm doing impressions of Yogi Bear, Ronald Reagan, Pee Wee Herman. I mean, that's, you know, who was at the time. And they were laughing. And they're like, oh, this is great. You're on. I'm like, really? Next thing you know, I'm at the school talent show that Friday. And when I went up on stage, I had no idea how the people were going to react. I was also a big fan of a guy named Rich Little, who's a guy that does impressions. And so when I did my first one, which is Yogi Bear, the crowd started laughing. And I'm like, is that the right response? You know, aren't they supposed to clap? I'm thinking they were supposed to clap. And so I did another one. And it was funny because I'd go, for my next impression, I'm going to do Mickey Mouse. And then I'm like, ha ha, you know. And as a 10-year-old, that was freaking genius. All right, nobody was doing that. And like, everyone's like, oh, he's great. And the reaction that I got at the end, people were standing up on their feet and they're going crazy. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I went backstage and my heart was, you know, trembling. And I'm like, this is freaking cool. And that's when I first got the bug for it. And I'm like, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And so the voices just started coming more and more. You know, I hear something long enough and I can pick it up. It's funny because a lot of people in my family are singers. And I have a lot of family members that are singing impressionists. So I don't get much into the music, but the impressions, yeah.
Tell me your first jokes with Marvin the Martian.
Oh, my God. So when I first started doing stand-up, like now people say, oh, Gabriel works clean. And I wouldn't call myself a clean comic because I do cuss in my set, but it's not every other word. When I first started, I was really blue. Really, really blue. And I was basically doing cartoons having sex. And so, it was hysterical, but you can't do that on the Tonight Show. So I'm up there doing freaking Marvin the Martian having sex. And I'm like, oh my modulator. Oh. You know, see, it's still funny, but you can't do that shit on late night. And so, one of the comics pulled me aside and he's like, dude, man, you're likable. You're funny. You're silly. You're witty, but you don't have to be dirty. He goes, you don't have to be dirty. And that was the best advice I ever got was, you know, not to be dirty. Work clean.